Morning.
Hello, he's John Meadows.
He's Shawn McGaughey, and we're two old cheapskates. We're going to talk about free audio tools and your
No.
Can I record you again?
Yeah,
Of course.
Boy, this is.
I'm not recording us. Thank you.
But I'm not going to be on all fours, breathing heavily this time. And hey, you could have been there. You could have been there. And here's the question: John Meadows, Shawn McGaughey, are we separated at birth? No, probably not. We're both born on November 16th, although I'm older. Left-handed. We're both guitarists. We both lived at one point in Saskatoon. We both do church podcasts, among other things. And I think first and foremost for this presentation, we are both Linux geeks.
The only question I have, John.
Yes?
I still haven't figured out which one's evil.
Oh, I think the evil ones always have more fun, so I'm happy to be the evil one. And so, how do you want to do this, Shawn? Who wants to? Okay. Why open source? Does anyone here not know what open source software is, or wants the textbook definition? Speak now.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
In fact, someone was just asking about, talking to us about the difference between Richard Stallman's definition of free software. He talks about free as in freedom as opposed to free as in beer. Incidentally, both of those things are good things. Versus open source, where the source is freely available for you to tinker with. There's a philosophical distinction. For us on the ground, there is a community of developers and people who see that there are more reasons than just chasing a commercial reward to produce software. There are a community of people that are sharing what they produce with the world, and it's free. We've got 2 laptops here running Ubuntu Linux, a complete free operating system, a complete free recording studio in a box. That, on the ground, that's what, no down payment, no monthly payments, you're going.
And you will not be giving any money to Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer, or Steve Jobs. And now, one thing that we should say is that there is a very strong philosophical reason for using open source, but also for a lot of people, it's some practicalities. Like I've been known to say that Bill Gates was the Antichrist, and on occasion I do believe that Apple will spit on its customers and tell them it's raining. But there are times that I have to I use a Mac on occasion. I use Windows if I'm paid to do so. But for me, I just like Linux. In addition to all the philosophical stuff, it works, and I know that my Linux computers are not sending out spam. And like 80% of the world's spam is sent out by compromised Windows machines.
How often do you update your antivirus program on your computer, John?
My what?
How about your spyware program?
I'll have to look that term up. I haven't run across that.
How often do you defrag your drive?
I mean, like, it sounds kind of cheesy, but
Never on the first day.
A lot of issues that are just common life issues with Windows are non-existent. I have some antivirus software that catches occasionally clean off virus attachments in emails that won't affect my computer but might affect the Windows computer.
What I've got here is a screen capture of homepage of ubuntustudio.org, and this is a great version or variant of probably the most popular version of Linux right now for the home user, desktop user, Ubuntu. It's Swahili, it means freedom, I think. Something.
It's a community aspect to
Yeah.
it too.
And Ubuntu Studio has been designed, it's purpose-built for people who want to do audio, video work as well as graphics. So basically, you you install it on a computer, basically, you know, it becomes the operating system, it becomes everything, but it has just a cornucopia, a whole whack of free software to do almost anything you can think of in this space. And so I thought what we do is just give a very quick sort of hit the high points demonstration or show you some of the tools that are in. Now, should we tell them about the surprise now?
We'll tell them about the surprise a little later.
Oh,
One
okay.
thing you should know if you're trying out a Linux distribution, there are many, many different flavors of Linux. It's all about how different people with different interests package the core tools together. Ubuntu Studio, as John said, is designed for artistic work. It's wonderful. A lot of distributions, the main distribution of Ubuntu are what are called live distributions. You can actually put the CD or DVD into your drive and it will run before you install it. So you can test it out, check out your hardware. It's going to run slowly because it's off a CD, but it gives you a sense of it. Ubuntu Studio is not one of them. It actually needs to be installed to your computer to work. But it is a great tool.
So if you want to have some fun, take a bunch of live CDs to like a Future Shop or a Best Buy when no one's looking, put them in the machines and then reboot. And you come back 5 minutes later and watch the computer experts. And where'd my Vista go? Where's my blue screen?
Oh, thanks. So loud I can hear you.
So should we go into some of the software?
Go ahead.
Okay, so
I definitely have to make slide presentations for next year.
pardon me?
I make some slide presentations for next year. Since I'm under tech.
Okay, now one of the tools that you're probably all familiar with is Audacity, and it comes with. Oh my! Sorry. Yeah. Yes. I'm not completely transparent.
Yes, it is a great tool.
And one thing about, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on Audacity because I spent a lot of time on it yesterday in Zero to Podcasting. One thing, if you're an effects junkie, in addition to the stuff that you get on a normal Ubuntu or the normal Audacity, I think they found almost every free effect under the sun. So if instead of being productive, you actually want to spend your life playing with effects, then you'll be
just show the effects menu. I was using Audacity yesterday, and Dave Delaney looked over my shoulder and said, "Where did all those effects come from?"
Let me just oops, so I can find a file. So everything isn't. Means I've taken all the stuff off my computer.
The nice thing is you can undo anything you do.
It's completely non-destructive.
Just show all the effects you have installed.
So, these are the ones you'll tend to see with a stock installation of Audacity. But you notice down here, plugins 1 to 15. Well, so how far did this go down? So 296 extra plugins. I'd recommend not trying to use them all in one podcast. It's sort of like when fonts first became available. Like, I've got 200 fonts and I can use them on one letter.
What are you talking about, John?
Yeah, exactly.
You can get some really nice.
It's like the audio ransom note.
Effects.
And one good thing about Audacity, because it's cross-platform, runs on Windows, Linux, and Mac, and I use it on all three, is that if you install it on Mac, it'll pick up a lot of the effects that are already on Mac. So it can install, and GarageBand's great for some things, but I hate it as an audio editor. Absolutely hate it. I use Audacity every platform I'm on, just because that's where I'm happy.
Now, John.
Yes.
I really feel I should phone you, because it's not like we're 6 feet apart or something. I do a lot of telephone interviews on my show. I use Skype. Actually, I've replaced the long-distance service in my home with Skype Out. We use Skype as our long-distance service. I do a lot of telephone interviews, and I have there are software packages in all platforms to record Skype, which doesn't record on its own. But there is a tool, kicking around under the hood, you can do it. And I actually talked John through this yesterday, and it's all about setting the drivers in your sound card to play, basically to loop back what is playing on the sound card so that you can record it in Audacity. And the steps in Linux are a little bit fiddly, but they're not impossible. Now, first thing, if you're using a USB sound device, you're going to need an analog sound device to talk through. I actually have a tool chain that I use when I'm recording an interview. I use the USB headset to talk out through Skype. I set my Skype settings to also defaults. Can you just show that, John?
Tools?
Yeah. I set them so it's an analog out, and I just plug into my speaker jacks on my computer.
Like my setting might be different from his.
And I also put a second set of earphones in so that I can hear the other person talking. Now I'm ready to capture it in Audacity. And I set my Audacity settings, again, to also default. And the way that works, we're going very quickly here. The way that works is in the sound card settings. So you see he's got it set to default, and that's setting to the analog drivers in the computer. Now, call up your K-Mix, your also mixer. The magic sauce in this technique is you are telling the computer to...
Can I use the QA mix? Because that works better.
If you're comfortable with QA mix, go for
I
it.
think I've already got it set.
Yeah.
Capture sources mix.
You want to set it to mix. You capture the sources. Now it's saying that anything that plays through the sound card, play it back so that we can record in Audacity.
So this QA mix is something you download and install?
QA mix is just a sound card mixer like the little speaker icon in Windows.
And it's one of the, if you install Ubuntu Studio, it's one of the gazillion programs you get.
Now I'm comfortable using a KDE desktop, and it has a mixer called K-Mix, which does the same thing. I've used this technique very, very successfully in Windows, with the Windows mixer, with some sound cards. If the sound card enables you, and they call the terminology different things in different circumstances. They may call it play through, they may call it loop back. But if you go way, way, way into the advanced recording settings in Windows, you can find a button, a checkbox to check that loops it back, and then whatever's coming out of destined for the speakers can be recorded.
So essentially what you're looking for is a loop back switch button, dialog box, something along that sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so I've never tested in Mac because I don't have access to a Mac computer, but basically most mixing systems on a computer have the ability to loop back, and you're good to go. You don't need extra software. Extra software is quite handy because some of the recording software, Audio Hijack Pro, makes it a one-button push to record a phone conversation in Mac. Total Recorder, Pamela in Windows makes, and these are all proprietary programs I'm talking about. They make it a one-button solution. Just press record and you're going. This is a little more fiddly, but it works. It works very well. My tool chain when I'm recording interviews is I actually get very geeky. It is possible through the sound card settings to set it so that you're recording your analog microphone that you're using and the analog source from either a tape you're playing or from the Skype conversation to one channel, to a recording on Audacity. What I tend to do is I talk out on Skype through my USB headset mic. That's my out to the other person. My in from the other person is going through my speaker output. And I've got an earphone jack so that I can hear them talk. Audacity is capturing that other person. I record my own end on my portable H4 recorder. And the reason I do that is to separate the channels. Because then when I'm done, I've got 2 separate streams of audio. I can bump them, I can fiddle with them, I can, if I need noise reduction or leveling, I can do it separately.
Okay.
It's very versatile for me.
Another program, and I'm not trying to be the salesperson for them. The one that I use, similar to this, without doing all this other kind of looping back, is called Pretty May. I talked about that in my session yesterday.
And I understand it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and it does what you're suggesting, is that it records each voice in a separate channel. It goes left and right. What I do with Audacity, the trick I do with Audacity with that, if anybody uses that program, bring it into Audacity. It has left and right. You can, through Audacity, make each channel left and right mono. Then you can split the tracks.
And mix it down.
And then you can enhance each side of it, if need be, and then level it out so that both conversations come out either side. And it's not like one ear and the other ear.
Oh yeah, well, when I mix down, of course, I don't have one person in one ear and one person in the other.
Right.
But that's part of the editing process.
Right.
And all of these tools that we've discussed are good proprietary tools, but we're here about free. And so that's this is the free method that I found that works quite well. So.
And there are times I'll spend money. Like for example, one thing where I think Linux or the open source tools are still weaker is things in video editing.
Does the video editing work in Studio?
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I don't think it works.
Yeah.
I've played with it with Kino, but my camera outputs
This is everybody's story.
QuickTime
That's what I
files.
wanted. I just want to know if you guys got video going.
And I'm not going to get. I haven't drunk the Kool-Aid, so much going to say yes. I do video editing. I do it on Mac, and I sleep at night. I don't feel I have to go through ritual purification afterwards.
And Skype's a proprietary program, but it's the best tool for this job. So
You know, one of the things about open source in Toronto, which I really like, because I tend to travel a lot. If a software package goes down on my computer, when it's open source, I can just go and download it. So I don't have to worry if Photoshop dies on me and I haven't got the disk or something like that. I simply go out and download it, no matter where I am, and no matter what computer I'm on. So the big advantage of this is you can work just about anywhere, anytime, as long as you have access to a computer and the net.
And the other thing that when I'm choosing tools, I really stick to cross-platform tools because it's if I produce an open office document, I can open it in any computer in any operating system I work at. Audacity is bilingual, trilingual. Wherever I am, I've really tried to become, as I've become more platform specific with Linux, I've also tried to become platform agnostic. I'm just sitting at a computer doing work. I don't care what it is as long as I can do the work.
Now, we're running a bit short, we're running behind on time. Should we
Move along. Okay. No, we've covered that.
Okay. A couple of other applications, I'm not going to really go through them a lot, but just some things that come with Ubuntu Studio. There's a program called Jack, and it's named after jacking at a soundboard, where it's a very, very sophisticated way of taking inputs from one program or the outputs from one program and making the inputs for another program, both from an audio point of view as well as a MIDI control, so that you can take, like for example, there's a cute little program that I like. It's a drum machine program called Hydrogen, and I have no idea if the sound will work. You'll probably just hear that's very simple. I can take that, and if I'm not going to do a demo because I'm still learning the ins and outs of something like Ardor, which is the other thing I wanted to show. Ardor is, if you feel that you're going beyond Audacity, but you don't want to drop, I don't know what the cost.
You didn't start Jack up,
Thank you. I'm just testing you, Sean. if you feel that you want the dark demons of demos. I wonder if hydrogen's getting in the way or something.
Could be.
You ever seen the Dilbert cartoons where they have the dark demons of demos? Or the, you've probably all seen the Windows 98 video where they were launching Windows 98 and they wanted to show you how to use the scanner. Blue screen of death with Bill Gates on stage.
Incidentally, I'm pretty sure that Microsoft has patented blue screen technology.
They've certainly become the experts on it. Let's try one more time.
It's happy now.
Yeah. So basically what Ardor is, and I'm just learning this one myself, is if you feel that that Audacity is Audacity, you know, you need capabilities that Audacity doesn't have, like things like automation. For Audacity doesn't have automation, but you don't want to go and drop. I don't know what the cost of Pro Tools is, but I think there was a reason why you didn't talk about Pro Tools in your podcasting on a budget session yesterday.
No, I didn't mention Adobe Audition too much either. It's expensive.
It's taking a while.
But Ardor is basically a full professional quality digital audio workstation which will hook up to a multitude of other programs through Jack, MIDI programs, audio programs, multi-tracking, anything you want to do. You can, anything that you would do with something like Cubase or Pro Tools, you can do with Ardor. And as you see, this is sort of the Linux geek's lifestyle. It takes us quite, you tinker a lot.
Yeah, because
but the tools are mature and they're there. And maybe we should just move on if we're having the Dark Demons of demos.
Yeah,
maybe
just
we
one
should
of those
just
days.
move on to, why don't you call up Synth? Because there's, I like playing with some of the virtual keyboards. Synth add sub-effects is pretty cool.
Oh, by the way, people, if you, I don't know if you're interested in the website for Audacity, in case you're wondering, because it isn't easy to find. It's http://audacity.sourceforge.net. Don't go to audacity.com. It's another thing altogether.
Yeah.
Just type in Google.
yeah,
Thanks,
or
Russell.
Google.
And I guess we should just show them, press a couple of keys. This is fun to play with. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not set up for this.
Okay.
So, gee, what else?
Oh, you have to open an instrument.
Should have anything installed. This one yet.
I've got it all set up on my computer, but my computer's
Yeah.
not hooked up to it.
The,
So this is the live demos, as it were. But there's, as you see, tons and tons of software to monkey with, of all kinds, audio and video. And I guess we could get on to the good news and have some questions.
I'll
eh?
try one more thing.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't we get on to the good news? The good news is this stuff does work. I'm just having a bad day. And the great thing about free software is we can give stuff away and not get arrested. So if anyone is interested, on the way out, we have the install DVD for Ubuntu Studios. It's the most recent version. You can take it, use it, duplicate it, make as many copies as you like, and give it out. Because like again, this is I'm running a regular Ubuntu distribution, and then there's been about 3 upgrades, plus the I installed all the extra packages to make it the equivalent of Ubuntu Studios. So what I'll do is I'll put the discs up here. Anyone who'd like one, help yourself on the way out. Questions, comments, slagging?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we actually opened up last January, not the one that just passed, one a year ago, a lab with, we put 4 radio intelligence students in it and computer science students in it to look at open source software, see how practical and useful it was. And, you know, we had a little bit of budget, and we got the proper computers and got it configured and all that sort of stuff. We found the tools to be very, very good, you know, up to the level of video. We could not make a video editing. We have all the expertise in the world here at Ryerson, but we could not get a video editing system to work, no matter what was promised, no matter what we're doing. So, but I think up to the level of video production, the open source tools, you've got to take time to learn a software package. If you want to learn a software package that's new to you in audio, I would go open source. I don't care whether you take the open source on a Mac, on a Linux, or on a PC. That is definitely the way to go, because that knowledge stays with you, and the programs seem to grow. I think the GIMP, which is the Photoshop equivalent, is an outstanding piece of software. Audacity is obviously an outstanding piece of software. People use it a lot.
And
So,
the thing, and really for a podcaster, especially a hobby podcaster like myself, the most expensive part of my process, like I've got the laptop, I've got the portable recorder, I already own those. The most expensive part of the process is my time.
Yeah.
Now, just for an example, yesterday I was down in Zero to Podcasting. I've used Audacity daily for approximately the last 3 years. I live it. I'm constantly in there. I learned some basic functionality of how to move tracks around yesterday in Zero to Podcasting that will probably cut 30 to 50% of my editing time.
Now,
And I've been when you're self-taught, you can have big omissions, and so it's this sort of workshop that is really useful.
now, is that beyond copying and pasting, though?
I didn't know how. No, I have been copying and pasting, Russell, and Mark showed me the move tracks, the tool, move tracks tool, and it just completely changed how.
It came up. I got it. I just had to turn off. It came up with Audacity. So this just to go back. This is Ardor. You can use it with in combination with Jack to basically do some very, very sophisticated stuff that I'm just learning about now. So I'm not going to demo it. Just want to say that yes, it will eventually appear.
I can show you afterward, Russell, just
Yeah,
to
okay.
show how much of an idiot I've been for the
No,
last
that's
3
okay.
years.
I've been copying and pasting for almost 2 years now, so if you can show me something different.
It'll blow your mind. In fact, well, can we load up?
Oh, sure. Let me close this. I guess the two aren't playing well together.
I've been an old school copy paster for years.
Well, and what I would normally do is to call up just any MP3 in Audacity. What I have been doing when I have multiple sources to edit is, so I'll copy the whole track,
Yeah.
and then I'll do the silence effect on it just to know how long the track is,
Yeah.
so that I can put that silence on the next track to put it at the end. It's a 5-step process. It's just what I do. Cut
Yeah,
and
that's
paste.
how I've been doing it is just copy, paste, copy, paste.
Well,
delete.
if we move from this tool, which is our selection tool,
Yeah.
and it's where obviously you and I live.
Yeah.
This is going to blow your mind because yesterday it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
This tool down here, the double arrows, is called the time shift tool.
Right.
Now if I click anywhere on the blank space in this track down here, and click on this track, watch this.
What the? Why didn't I? Okay.
Is it okay?
I've used that. That I've used.
I have never used that. Let's just go to view
Honestly, I
and
never did that.
fit our tracks vertically. Now, you know what? This track, I've got a good bit here of talking.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah,
audio. I've got a good bit here of talking, but I want to separate it and put a song in between.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go back to my select tool, and select where the break wants to be. Right click, I believe it's right click, or edit, split. This is something I learned yesterday too. Now when we split the track, it's still the same audio, it's still all there, it's still in sequence, but now when I go to the shift tool, I can move them independently.
Oh man, why didn't I think of that earlier? Okay.
This is what I'm taking home from
I
Podcamp.
had the same.
I gotta play around with my Audacity more when I get home today.
And it was, when I did the Podcamp Toronto podcast last night at the restaurant, I just passed my H4 around and did, I think, a dozen interviews, 15 minutes of interviews. I had 4 or 5 files, and 4 or 5 files with the theme music at the front and the end. Looking at 15 minutes, you're looking at 45 minutes to an hour to edit. It took me 25 minutes. Just learning how a feature, basic functionality. Hi, I'm Shawn, and I've learned how to copy and paste. Internet world, I'm standing here doing a presentation. I now know how to copy and paste. But it really will change how my workflow, and I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thanks.
Now we've run over. So again, help yourself to these on the way out. We'll both be here the rest of the day. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to shout, wave, throw food at us. Thank you.
Thank you.